Hi, Ellen.
Hey there. Thanks for having me on today.
Great. Yeah. So this will be really cool to learn about your program. So, can you just give us a little, sort of a short primer describing it a little bit?
Sure. I'm one of the people who created the TreeSnap app, and the
Uh-huh.
idea behind TreeSnap is to make it easier to connect people who are passionate about trees to the researchers that are looking for special trees, trees that have something about them that maybe makes them resistant to an insect or a pathogen that's wiping them out. And so, if you think about it, people have been looking for those trees for a long time. We've had these epidemics. We're in an epidemic right now, but we've had tree epidemics in the past, like chestnut blight that wiped out chestnut, like Dutch elm disease that wiped out our elms. And people have been looking for those trees that have, something special about them, hoping that that could be part of the future of bringing those trees back. And when people did that previously, it was kind of a really cumbersome process, recording their location, information about them, getting those where they need to be, mailing things around. And so our idea with TreeSnap was to streamline that process and make it easier for the people who want to report that information, as well as the scientists who want to use that information.
Okay. So, how do we go about finding these special trees?
Well, we're working with a really broad range of partners with TreeSnap. So there are scientists researching different trees across the country. Where I'm located in the eastern U.S., for example, you could be looking for American chestnut that's still alive and in the woods. We've got partners, the American Chestnut Foundation and others that want to know the locations of those. You could be looking for ash trees that are still alive and surviving even when everything around them has been killed by the emerald ash borer. We have partners with the Forest Service and otherwise are looking for those. And so TreeSnap is kind of that compiler where you can report any trees that you see around that kind of meet these different research missions, or just use it for your own purposes. It's a really convenient kind of GPS data collection device to take with you, and easy to use.
Okay. Well, okay. So, I actually was just out walking and saw some chestnut trees. So, how do
Oh,
I get
exciting.
started? I wanna get going.
That sounds great. So, I was just out the other week with some folks. Our number one TreeSnap user is Ken Darnell, and he's the president of the Kentucky chapter of the American Chestnut Foundation, and he is an avid chestnut hunter. So he just spends his free time hiking around the woods looking for chestnut. And the reason why he's looking for chestnut is, first, it's fun. You get to hike around the woods and look for chestnut. But from a research perspective, using those trees in the future. So those trees that are still alive, maybe there's something special about them that could convey some resistance to this invasive chestnut blight fungus that's wiping them out. Maybe they're not resistant to it, but they can still produce nuts. They could still produce seeds that if we had, a chestnut that was resistant you could cross it with, it could still be important in a number of research aspects. So what he does is he scans around for chestnuts and, has a great technique for finding them. If you find the small ones, you might find a larger one nearby and kind of looking for that. But one of the challenges with chestnuts is that we have our American chestnut, which is what we're looking for. That's our native tree. But there are also other types of chestnut. There's Chinese chestnut and Japanese chestnut that people have imported and grown here, both of which are more resistant to the blight than our native one. And they can look really similar. So if you're out there and you see something that looks like chestnut, I'd recommend you open up your TreeSnap app and click on the thing that says American Chestnut. We have lots of different trees that we have partners who are looking for information on them, but wherever you're located, the TreeSnap app will just show you the trees that should be present in your area. Not all the trees on the West Coast if you're in the eastern United States and vice versa. And so you'll see American Chestnut listed there if you're in the range of it, and you can click on it. And then it'll ask you a series of questions about chestnut, things like how big is it? Is it producing burrs? Does it have blight symptoms? And if you're looking at this and wondering, I don't even know if I have chestnut, you can click on some information there, and we've got photos, where it should be, some more information about it, just in general, as well as from our scientific partners, the American Chestnut Foundation. Why are they asking what they're asking, question-wise? How will your information be used? And if you go on the TreeSnap website, which is, I think, the most fun thing, because the app is on your phone, and you can report things that way. But then if you go on the website afterwards, treesnap.org, you can see all of these observations that have been collected. And we have over 14,000 observations across the U.S. that have been collected. Almost half of those are chestnut. That's a lot of American chestnuts. And you can kind of get a feel for where people are finding those, look at the pictures that they've collected, and, just learn more about it that way.
Wow. So it sounds like chestnuts are the poster tree, the one that has its own organization and has more people looking for it. Are there ones that you wish people would look for that are kind of neglected and no one's looking for these, but we really need to know about them?
It kind of depends on where you are, where you're located, and what you're excited about, what you're seeing in your woods. TreeSnap's one of those apps that, some of the species that we're asking about, you might not see that much. For example, butternut. Butternut is related to walnut. In fact, people call it white walnut, but it's been wiped out by a disease that's really impacting it. But working with partners who are trying to bring it back and trying to see, is there any resistance out there to this butternut disease, this canker, and can they find trees that are still out there? We don't have much butternut right now, so if you've got any, make sure to report that on there. And I think, you're not probably going to stumble onto it all the time, but if you do, that's a perfect place to record that and share that with other people. Once it's in TreeSnap, you can easily share that location with others as well via email, and you can have a link that way. So another thing, we've got partners in the western U.S. with Pacific Madrone, Oregon ash, and the southwest with pinyon pine, Florida toria down in Florida, and that area is, I think, the most endangered tree species that we have. And so there's just a lot of different trees, and it depends on where you are and what you're seeing.
Huh. Now, people will post endangered trees and other organisms, their photos to iNaturalist. How is TreeSnap different?
Yeah, I think with TreeSnap, TreeSnap is a little different from something like iNaturalist, which I love and use all the time. iNaturalist, I'm probably... I have no affiliation with them, but I sing their praises regularly because it's such a useful tool to have in your pocket. You can take a picture of something, it tells you what it is, or maybe what it is, it gets you in the right ballpark, connects you to this community of other folks, and anyone can use it. TreeSnap is really kind of more for that data collection, people who are a little bit more familiar with those trees and really tapped into those programs. Mm-hmm. So if you're a scientist and you want a way for a community that you work with to easily collect data, this is a great tool. If you're somebody who's really passionate about one of these and wants to record what you're finding and share it with people, it's a great tool.
Great. Anything else you'd like to share?
No, I encourage folks to get out there and, try out TreeSnap. Visit the website, even if you can't get out in the woods and try it out, or if you do and you don't find anything, any chestnut, get online and check out what other people have found that way. Have fun looking around for new things. You never know what you might find when you're hiking around the woods, what kind of new tree or new insect or, new flower you might see. And hopefully TreeSnap can be a part of that, especially this fall. What better time to get out and have fun in the woods?
Great. All right. Thanks, Ellen.
Yeah, thank you.